year is 1585. The sacred peaks of Mount Hiei are shrouded in a freezing mist. On a narrow, jagged path, a man named Hiroshi is walking. He has been walking for 18 hours a day. He has been walking for 700 days in a row. His white robes are stained with mud and dried blood. His straw sandals disintegrated weeks ago. He is walking on raw, infected flesh. He carries a small knife in his belt and a rope around his neck. These are not weapons for his enemies. They are for himself. The code of the Kaihogyo, the marathon monks, is absolute. If you fail to complete the daily pilgrimage, you must use the knife or the rope to end your life immediately. There is no quitting. There is no trying again tomorrow. There is only completion or death. Hiroshi collapses against a cedar tree. His body is screaming. His bones feel like they are pulverizing under his own weight. He looks at his hands. They are shaking so violently he cannot make a fist. "I cannot take another step," he whispers to the darkness. "I am broken." But the darkness whispers back, "You are broken because you are still holding on to the hope of comfort. You are suffering because you believe pain is a mistake. But pain is not a mistake. Pain is the fuel." Hiroshi stands up. He does not stand up because he has energy. He stands up because he has abandoned the part of himself that needs energy. He takes a step, then another. He is no longer a man walking. He is a ghost driven by a terrifying, unstoppable will. He has entered a state the Japanese call Tsuteneko, the mind of the abandoned cat, a survival instinct so pure that it transcends biology. Right now, looking at this screen, you are the opposite of Hiroshi. You live in a world designed to kill your will. You have a soft bed. You have endless food. You have entertainment on demand. And because of this comfort, you are weak. You quit your diet after 3 days because you felt hungry. You quit your business idea after 1 month because it got hard. You stop running the moment your lungs burn. You treat discomfort like a disease, so you sedate it with cheap dopamine. But the ancient masters knew a secret that we have forgotten. A human being is not built in comfort. A human being is forged in fire. The discipline we are going to explore today breaks 99% of the people who attempt it. It is not for the weak. It is not for the tourists of self-improvement. It is the art of gaman, enduring the unbearable with patience and dignity. And if you can learn just 1% of this discipline, you will never quit anything, ever again. The architecture of weakness. Why did Hiroshi walk? Why did the monks of Mount Hiei choose a path where failure means death? They do not do it for fitness. They do not do it for glory. They do it because they understand a fundamental truth that modern society has spent billions of dollars trying to hide from you. Comfort is a slow poison. Look at the architecture of your life. You wake up in a climate-controlled room. You drive to work in a padded seat. You take an elevator instead of the stairs. If you are hungry, food appears in minutes. If you are bored, entertainment appears in seconds. You have removed every single jagged edge from your existence. And you think this is success. You think the goal of life is to reach a point where you never have to struggle again. But look at what this success has done to you. It has made you fragile. Because you never feel cold, a draft makes you complain. Because you never feel hunger, a missed meal makes you angry. Because you never feel true physical agony, a moment of emotional discomfort breaks you. The Japanese concept of gaman translates roughly to endurance, but it implies something deeper. It means enduring the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity. It is the ability to shut your mouth and keep walking when your world is burning down. You have lost this ability. You have traded your resilience for convenience. You are like a wolf that has been taken from the wild and put in a zoo. You are safe, you are fed, you are warm, but you are losing your mind. You pace back and forth in your cage of comfort, anxious, depressed, and unfulfilled. Why? Because a wolf is not designed to be safe. A wolf is designed to hunt. And a human being is not designed to be comfortable. A human being is designed to overcome. When Hiroshi walks the mountain, he is not exercising. He is systematically destroying the domesticated self. Every step he takes is an act of violence against his own desire for safety. His brain screams, "Stop! It hurts! Rest!" And every time he ignores that voice, he kills a little bit of his weakness. He is carving his spirit out of the raw material of suffering. You are doing the opposite. Every time you hit snooze, you feed the weakness. Every time you skip the gym because you are tired, you feed the weakness. Every time you shy away from a difficult conversation, you feed the weakness. And eventually, the weakness becomes stronger than you. It becomes the master. You become a slave to your own impulses, ruled by a toddler brain that demands pleasure and avoids pain at all costs. This is not freedom. This is biological tyranny. To break this cycle, you must understand that your brain is lying to you. Your brain is evolved to keep you alive, not to make you a legend. It wants you to save calories. It wants you to hide in the cave. But the cave is where dreams go to die. The monks know that to find the light, you must first willingly step into the dark. You must stop looking for the hack. You must stop looking for the easy way. There is no easy way. There is only the mountain and the knife. Let us look at the specifics of the hell Hiroshi has made Ise life, and there is the last by Cruncher. Because until you understand the scale of the suffering, you cannot understand the scale of the transformation. The Kaihogyo takes 7 years to complete. In the first 3 years, the monk runs 30 kilometers a day for 100 consecutive days. That sounds difficult, but it is just the warm-up. By the 5th year, the distance stays the same, but the monk must sit and chant for hours after the run, leaving almost no time for sleep. In the 7th year, the distance increases to 84 kilometers a day. That is 2 full marathons, every single day, for 100 days. By the end, the monk will have walked a distance equivalent to circling the entire earth. And he does this in handmade straw sandals that disintegrate after a few hours. He does this eating only rice, miso soup, and vegetables. He is perpetually starving. He is perpetually sleep-deprived. His body eats its own muscle for fuel. His feet are a mosaic of cuts and calluses. Why? Why not wear running shoes? Why not eat protein? Why not sleep? Because the goal is not performance. The goal is depletion. The masters understand that the the arrogant, loud part of your mind that says, "I am special," lives on excess energy. When you are well fed and rested, your ego is strong. It judges, it complains, it plans. But when you are starving, freezing, and exhausted, the ego has nowhere to hide. It starts to die. And this is the point. The monk is trying to kill the false self through sheer exhaustion. But the running is not even the hardest part. In the middle of the training comes the doiri, the entering the hall. This is a ritual of death. For 9 days, the monk enters a small temple room. He cannot eat, he cannot drink water, he cannot sleep, and he cannot lie down. He must sit upright and chant mantras 24 hours a day. 2 other monks sit beside him to ensure he does not fall asleep. If he nods off, they strike him. Medical science says a human will die after 3 to 4 days without water. The monk goes for 9. By the 5th day, the monk is hallucinating. His tongue swells in his mouth. His skin turns grey. The monks describe smelling the scent of rotting flesh. They are smelling their own bodies beginning to decompose while they are still alive. They are literally hovering over the abyss of death. Why would anyone do this? Because they believe that if you can walk up to the edge of death, look into the void and not flinch, you come back changed. You come back with a power that cannot be taken away. You realize that survival is just a habit. You realize that you are not your body. You are the thing that drives the body. Now, look at your own hardships. You get a headache, so you take a pill and lie down. You feel burnt out after a 40-hour work week sitting in a chair. You think you are pushing yourself, but you are barely scratching the surface of your potential. You are like a man who thinks he is drowning because he stepped in a puddle. You have no idea what your body can actually do because you stop at the first sign of resistance. The monk, Hiroshi, teaches us that the mind gives up 1,000 miles before the body actually breaks. You have a governor in your brain, safety switch. It tells you to quit when you have used only 40% of your fuel. The Kaihogyo is the process of ripping that safety switch out of the dashboard. It is the process of proving to yourself that impossible is just a word used by comfortable people to justify their mediocrity. When the monk steps out of the hall after 9 days, he is frail, he is skeletal, but his eyes are burning with a terrifying clarity. He has died and been reborn. He has proven that the spirit is stronger than biology. And here you are, negotiating with yourself about whether to do 10 minutes of cardio. Do you see the gap? Do you see why you feel weak? It is not because you lack ability. It is because you lack the necessity. You have given yourself too many exits. The monk has the knife. He has no exit. And until you close the exits in your own life, you will never find out who you truly are. The mind of the abandoned cat. The monk called this state Suteneko. It translates to the abandoned cat. It refers to a cat that has been thrown away, left in the wild to die. A domestic cat plays with yarn. It sleeps in the sun. It is soft. But an abandoned cat changes. It stops playing. It stops resting. Every sense becomes sharp. Every muscle becomes tight. It does not want to hunt. It must hunt. The difference between the two is not physical capability. It is the removal of the safety net. When the monk puts the rope around his neck, He is artificially inducing the state of the abandoned cat. He is telling his brain, there is no master coming to feed you. There is no warm bed waiting. Hunt or die. This triggers a shift in what modern neuroscience calls the anterior cingulate cortex, ACC. The ACC is the part of the brain that governs willpower. It is the muscle of doing what you do not want to do. Scientists have found that when people are obese, the ACC is smaller. When people are disciplined, the ACC is larger. It is literally a muscle. And like any muscle, it only grows when you take it to failure. You have allowed your ACC to atrophy. You have created a life where you never have to do anything you hate. You hire people to clean your house. You order food so you don't have to cook. You watch movies so you don't have to think. You are the domestic cat. And because of this, when a real predator arrives, a financial crisis, a divorce, a health scare, you panic. You don't have the neural architecture to handle the stress. You crumble because you have never practiced standing under a heavy load. The monk Hiroshi is not just building spiritual merit. He is physically restructuring his brain. Every step he takes in pain sends a signal to the ACC. Grow. Every time he denies his hunger, the ACC expands. He is building a fortress in his mind that fear cannot penetrate. This is the secret of the second wind. You think the second wind is energy. It is not energy. It is the moment your brain realizes that you are not going to stop. So it stops withholding resources and releases the reserve tank. But you never get the reserve tank. Why? Because you stop at the first sign of the first wind. You stop when it gets uncomfortable. You stop when the domestic cat starts crying. And so, you never see what lies on the other side of the wall. The discipline of gammon is about ignoring the cat. It is about realizing that your feelings are not facts. Your boredom is not a reason to quit. Your fatigue is not a reason to stop. These are just chemical signals sent by a brain that is trying to save energy. The master treats these signals like background noise. The amateur treats them like orders. You have been taking orders from your weakness for your entire life. It is time to start giving the orders. The death of the ego. Barrier 4. Written strictly according to the locked format. Chapter 4. The death of the ego. After 1,000 days, Hiroshi walks down the mountain for the last time. He does not look like a conqueror. He looks like a ghost. His body is a wreck. His joints are ground to dust. He has aged 20 years in 7. But if you look into his eyes, you do not see pain. You see absolute, terrifying peace. Why? Because the man who started the walk is dead. The Hiroshi who wanted to be famous is dead. The Hiroshi who feared pain is dead. The Hiroshi who needed comfort is dead. All that remains is the act. There is no "I am walking." There is only walking. This is the ultimate goal of the discipline. It is not to build a stronger body. It is to kill the ego. The ego is the part of you that is constantly keeping score. I worked hard today. I deserve a break. Why is this happening to me? This isn't fair. The ego is a noisy child that narrates your life and makes everything about you. And because it makes everything about you, it makes everything heavy. Hiroshi discovered that when the pain becomes great enough, the ego cannot survive. It shatters. And when the ego shatters, the weight disappears. You are exhausted right now because you are carrying a corpse. You are dragging around the dead weight of your self-image. You are obsessed with how you look, how you feel, what people think of you. You are protecting a version of yourself that doesn't even exist. The monk teaches us a brutal truth. You have to die before you die. You have to kill the part of you that needs to be comfortable. You have to kill the part of you that thinks it is special. Because only when that part is dead can you truly live. Imagine if you didn't care about being tired. Imagine if you didn't care about being embarrassed. Imagine if you had no self to protect. What could you do? You could do anything. You would be unstoppable. Not because you are strong, but because you are empty. You would be like the wind. You cannot hurt the wind. You cannot stop the wind. Hiroshi became the wind. But you are still a stone. You are solid, heavy, and stationary. You are protecting your comfort like it is gold, not realizing it is the chains holding you down. The monk walked through hell to find heaven. You are staying in purgatory because the temperature is just right. But purgatory is a trap. Safety is a trap. The only way out is through the fire. When Hiroshi finishes his journey, he does not celebrate. He simply takes off his sandals, bows to the mountain, and sweeps the floor. He has done the impossible, and yet he is nobody. That is true power. Power is not shouting, "Look at me." Power is the silence that follows the storm. It is the knowledge that you can endure anything, so you need to prove nothing. The death of the ghost. The state of Ku, the void. Hiroshi hangs up his white robes. He puts away the knife and the rope. He returns to the temple kitchen to peel potatoes. If you saw him on the street, you would not see a superhero. You would see a small, frail old man. But he carries a silence inside him that screams louder than any shout. He has entered the state of Ku, the void. In the West, we think void means empty. We think it means nothing. But in the samurai mind, the void is not empty. It is full. It is the state of infinite potential that exists when you remove the limits of the self. When the glass is full of water, it can hold nothing else. When the glass is empty, it can hold the ocean. Hiroshi emptied his glass. He poured out his fear, his pain, and his ego onto the mountain path. Now, he is a vessel for something far greater than himself. You do not need to walk for 1,000 days to touch the void. You do not need to stand under a freezing waterfall or starve yourself to death. But you do need to find your own Kaihogyo. You need to find one thing in your life that is non-negotiable. One thing that you do not quit, no matter how you feel. It could be waking up at 4 a.m. It could be cold exposure. It could be deep work. It doesn't matter what the vehicle is. What matters is the driving. What matters is that you draw a line in the sand and say, "I will not cross this line, even if it kills the part of me that wants to be comfortable." Create a binary world. There is doing it, and there is death. Not physical death, but the death of your self-respect. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you kill your spirit. Every time you keep a promise when you are tired, when you are depressed, When you are broken, you resurrect it. You build the immovable mind. The world is filled with people who start things. The gyms are full in January. The libraries are full during exam week. But the mountain is empty. The path of the 1,000 days is lonely. There is no applause there. There are no likes there. There is only the sound of your own breathing and the beating of your own heart. But it is in that silence that you will find the thing you have been looking for your entire life. You will find the version of you that cannot be broken. The knife is in your hand. The rope is around your neck. The mountain is waiting. Are you going to stay in the warm, soft bed of your potential? Or are you going to take the first step into the dark? So tell me, what is the one discomfort you are going to embrace today to kill the weakness inside you? If you are ready to walk the path of the abandoned cat, leave a comment. Walk the path.